Hey everybody, it's Steve with SKY194, and I appreciate you taking the time to visit and check out my video. And this is going to be a little bit different, one I haven't done in a while. It'll hopefully be a shorter video, but I had a request on Discord to update the setups for the Audi EVO2. So I'm going to be going through some certain tracks that he requested requested to get updated. And I don't think I've gotten all the setups for the Audi anyway, so it's a good time to update it. First one was Brands Hatch. So we're going to do a quick lap here, and then we're going to go over the setup. I come up here, I usually look for the orange over here to the left. There's an orange marker back here. I'm usually looking for that for my brake zones. And of course, conditions may vary depending upon the track, but I use that as a base. And the same thing with this bridge up here, right there. I mean, I usually use that as a base too, maybe a little bit before it, or a little bit deeper, just around that is the base of where I use my brake marker. And of course, right there also is right there where the curbing is. Run it wide there. That's about as wide as you could go without getting a penalty. And then right here, I'm usually there's a little kink right here, little elbow. You can see it in the car. And that's usually my brake point, or the orange. You can use the orange too if you want to look over there, but I usually just go by the kink. And this is such a tricky corner, and it's such an important corner because it's a very good passing zone. And if you muck it up, somebody can get a good run on you. Luckily, the Audi is good on the speed, so it's really good with that. But you still got to just try to be smooth. You're kind of wanting to do a little bit of a late apex and come in here and then touch the inside curb. You let it run out, and you can run it right out here, but just make sure you get it back here pretty quick because there's a pretty bad bump right here where the curbing is. So you want to make sure, you can run it out here, and even if you hit the grating a little bit, it's not the end of the world, but just make sure you kind of steer a little more aggressive back on, because you don't want to run it out here because it'll upset the car. Down here, right before the number 1 here on the brakes, down to 3rd. Try to hug it in and get on the gas, run it out. Same thing right before the number 1. And of course, with Brands Hatch, you're always going to be running in the grass. It's inevitable. You're going to get a wheel in the grass. You're going to run through the grass here. So again, it's some of that in the setup. I try to help that out a little bit, not to make it so unstable. And we'll kind of go over that when we go to setup. But again, you want to kind of do a late apex here too, so you don't run wide coming off. You can see how the outside is really just almost right here. So you're almost straddling this curb right here, and like I said, you're wanting to do that because otherwise, if you turn in too early, you're running over here, and you're going to run wide coming off. And again, that's perfect right there. Could have carried a little more speed, using every bit of edge. Now this is a real tricky corner because you can't see over here. It's a blind side. So again, a lot of this is timing, and the only way you're gonna get that was practice. I use the orange over here as my marker. Again, when it's dark at night, that's what you're gonna be looking for. All these things like that, because obviously it's really black, really pitch black on this back side of the track here. It's kind of like, you got some light up on the front, but when you get back here, it's just like there's your headlights is it. So again, it's really your muscle memory, because basically you're just going to get used to turning a certain amount, and so that's what you got to get used to, because you want to hit that and do a late apex here. You don't want to turn in early, because if you turn in early, you're going to be off in the grass. You want to do a late apex and be able to get on the gas early. A lot of times to be fast here, you have to get on the gas very fast, very early, and trust where you're going to be going. So if you're going to run wide, you're going to be messed up because you're not going to want to get on the gas early. So again, you got to really know before you're even off the corner that you went through there correctly. And you can see right here, that's where this is pretty much perfect. Right side's almost on the grading, left side's over here on the track and the curb. And again, you can see I'm already on the gas over here. You know, run it right out. And then here, this will probably be gone. Every time I race here, they knock this out. People lose it and knock this. So you want to remember this orange right here. Right at the orange, or maybe in the car, you're just a little bit past the orange. Down to second. Ride the curb on the inside and the outside. But again, make sure I've seen a lot of guys lose it right here. So again, you know, so a lot of guys will get their one tire in the grass and it'll shoot them off. So again, you want to be careful with that. If you get the car in the grass, be careful. If you run a little wide, but the Audi's not too bad. I've done it in practice here and it seems pretty good. And again, here, you want to brake right here at the number 1. Don't try to, unless you're passing, don't try to go in too deep because then it ends up messing you're coming off. So try to brake right here at the 1. And what you want to do is hug this curb and get on the gas and just so you can run it out wide and get a good run down this straightaway. I mean, if you go in there too deep, then it kind of sometimes it'll mess this up. This is a low fuel run. And it's a 24.0. I'm sure there's a 23 in it. You know, that wasn't an absolute perfect lap. But I'm sure there'd be, you know, you could get a high 23. Again, my temperatures are always at, you know, this is at, I think, 22 degrees. So usually I'm 21, 22, something like that. And basically, let's go over the setup. So this video is not too long. You can run about, I was running 24 threes and stuff when you had a race fuel load on it. So I got 24.5 front, 26.1 right front, 24.8 left rear, 26.1 also, which you can tell that's really good balance for the same pressures on the front and the rear. Toes negative 0.2, camber's negative 4, casters all the way. Toe in the rear is negative 0.05 and the camber is 3.5. If you want more turn in, go ahead and you can go up to negative 3 here. You can do that if you want more turn in, but the only thing with that is during a race or a longer stint, you might grain the tires and tear the fronts up a little bit more aggressively. So that's the only thing I would go against that. But if you want it like in qualifying or something like that, you could do that. Other than that, if you want a little bit more rotation, you could probably go just a teeny bit. You could probably put this back to 0. But I try to do this because later on in the stint, I mean, the Audi wears the rears faster than the fronts. So I'm trying to do that. So later on, the back end is still stable and not undrivable. That's why I try to do that, to calm the rear end down later on after you've run, you know, 5, 6, 10, whatever laps later in the stint. Electronics, I would not go below this. I tried it at 3. It is just way too much. If you want to go up more, you can go up one other click up to 5. So I would keep it. I tried at 4. 5 will slow the rotation down a little bit. So if that's what you want, it's a good way to practice. You know, really good. You can do that on the fly. You can, you know, try it while you're practicing and see what you think. Again, 55 liters, number 1 brake pad. Mechanical, again, any roll bars all the way, brake power's all the way, brake bias is 61, steering's all the way down. Springs are 132,000, bump stop rate 700, bump stop range 5 on the front. And the rear, the springs are 144,000 with a bump stop rate of 500 and a bump stop range of 30. Any roll bar is 0 and the preload 110. Again, this car does not need help to rotate. So if you want to adjust this brake bias, you can. But I'm trying to save the rear tires so the wear is as equal as can be. I would start off here, and you might even go up. You might even go up to 62 or 63 later on, because the car, as it wears the rear tires, is probably going to want to rotate a little bit more. Here, I've tried some different springs. This seems like really good package all around. The reason I have a little bit more diff is, again, that grass. A lot of times you see a lot of guys get one tire on the grass and they'll shoot off into the wall, probably because they're running very little diff, very, very low. That's why. If you have a little bit more preload, one, it helps the car stabilize in the middle of the corner because the diff is locking up. Because you can see I have no anti-roll bar because the rear end is still, it wants to rotate, so it doesn't need help. So this will help it not rotate. And then on top of that, if you get in the grass with one wheel, it'll help you save it and not just left or right turn into the wall. So again, that's the reason I run a little bit more diff, and the Audi likes that anyway. Shocks, they're all the way on the rebound and fast rebound. Aero all the way down on the front, 64 in the rear with a max swing and a 4, and the 4 in the brake ducts, and the front aero variation is negative 2.7. Again, you can adjust the brake ducts accordingly depending on the temperature. You can see the temperature here, 21, 22, and the pressure should be really close. Other than that, this is a really good, I'll probably start a new folder for the Audi since I'm doing all these setups will be coming out, and this will be the first one added in. I'll look and see if there's any more I want to add in, but since I'm updating it, I will, I don't really want to mix in something that's not going to work. So most likely, if not, you might just see this in there for now, but I'll probably start a new folder for the Audi. Again, or update it anyway. So again, I hope you give me a like and subscribe. And again, I hope the person that suggested this on, that asked for it on Discord, I hope he likes it. Hope it works for him. And again, it gives you a good baseline that you can adjust from there. Adjust what you want. But it's really, the balance is really, really good. Of course, in the beginning, never trust what it feels like in the first lap. Maybe lap and a half until you start getting really heat in the tires. It feels a little bit oversteery maybe in the very beginning. But it's not. It's just, it'll start coming back in as soon as you get some heat in the tires. So. Again, I think I want it that way just because here you need the car to react really quick. You want it to go around the hairpin really fast. You need the car to rotate but controllable, and not, you can run consistent. I was running the lap times within about a tenth and a half of each other when I was practicing. So it was really consistent, very drivable. So hope you enjoy it, and I appreciate it, and we'll see you the next time.